Jeameave back in Views from the Heart, and today I got a 2019 Infiniti QX60 courtesy of Infiniti of South Bay. Once again, thank you so much to Luis and my guy Will for this wonderful opportunity. I appreciate you guys so much. And like I said, this is a 2019 Infiniti QX60 with the Luxe package and the Essential Trim package, so it's not quite the top of the line model, but it's about a tier below, but it's packing all the essentials that one would find necessary within the vehicle, with the lack of possibly just a panoramic roof, and the TVs in the back of the headrest for the middle seat occupants. This is a third row. It is considered a crossover, so it's not essentially a full SUV, but from what Infiniti's offering and what I've driven already, I feel like it's imperative for people that are looking into Infinitis, my personal opinion, that the crossovers and SUVs are far more ideal than what they're offering right now in terms of their vehicles, because Infiniti is lacking a true performance car in the sense of driving characteristics and handling characteristics, not necessarily in terms of horsepower. But I'm eager to see what this vehicle is packing. It has a curb weight of 4,500 pounds and it's packing a 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6 with 295 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque, made it to a CVT transmission. Let's take this little trip with me and see what this little bad boy is packing. Let's go. So what's this like driving a 2019 Infiniti QX60 with the Luxe package? Once again, this vehicle is courtesy of Infiniti of South Bay, and I have my guy Mark sitting with me shotgun. If you guys have any questions or concerns or looking for an Infiniti, please feel free to hit my guy Mark. Mark, where can the people watching reach you at if you'd like to share your number or anything that you know, people can reach you at?
My name is Mark Chapman. I'm a sales advisor here at Infiniti of South Bay. You can reach me directly at 213-915-7881, and I will do my best to help you guys out.
Well, you heard it here first. Like I said, Infiniti South Bay, and this vehicle is courtesy of Infiniti South Bay. Now onto the review. So essentially, right off the bat, I do not know why, and this is disconcerting to me, and it's not a knock on this vehicle, but it's sort of a knock on Infiniti as a whole. Why does the steering in this crossover SUV, whatever you want to call it, feel significantly better than every sedan sports car or whatever that Infiniti's offering now feels better than? That drive-by-wire steering is honestly so numb, and the lack of transient feedback from the road is just so not performance oriented, but yet I get into something as large as this, and I say large kind of loosely because this isn't even that big. This vehicle has a curb weight of 4,500 pounds, 4,500 to 27 pounds to be exact, and honestly it's pretty comfortable. It has a third row, but I say that also loosely in the sense that it's a third row in a pinch. Realistically speaking, the people that you are going to put in the third row would be like your toddler in the car seat, or your elementary school student, or your middle school student, probably up to like 7th grade at most. Realistically, especially if you have middle seat occupants as well, the room for the third row is very constrained, as well as when the third row is up, your cargo room is almost non-existent. You can probably fit maybe 4 backpacks, to be completely honest, when the third row is up. Obviously, you can collapse the third row and you can collapse the middle row pretty easily, and especially to make room for entryway to the third row. It's just literally the click of a button, push it forward, and it's all hand in hand, pretty easy to do. Anyone can do it. Obviously and unfortunately, this is not the top of the line model, but I do believe the most premium offering of this QX60 has fully automated buttons. Am I correct?
That's correct.
So yeah, I'm more of the mindset of, if you can do it yourself and it's still easy by just doing a little arm work, then by all means, because if it's done electronically, well, if you plan on keeping this vehicle for a very long time, the most likely scenario is that obviously that's just one more thing to possibly break. But I have experience in all automated third row before, and it's a pretty convenient feature, especially if you're on a little bit more up there in age or you have a disability. It's definitely helpful. But overall, I think for the average customer, it's not the most necessary thing. But overall, like I said, even with this not being the most premium package per se, I am still impressed by the interior quality of in here. Everywhere I touch, see, and feel is of some sort of leather or soft touch plastic, and this is more of like a cream beige sort of interior. I actually really like it. It's clean, but I will say that especially if you're going to use this as a kid hauler, maintenance in here would be pretty crazy to say the least. Obviously, if you have like 2 high school age students that knows manners, maintenance may not be as bad. But remember, this is a light cream colored vehicle, so just gotta keep that in mind. You know, obviously, you don't have to choose a specific color, but overall, it's comfortable. The sound deadening in here is actually pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie. It's smooth. It's very isolated, and this is the best steering that I've felt from an Infiniti vehicle of their current lineup. I don't understand. This is one of their biggest offerings, even though it's technically not even that big. It's a little bit bigger than the QX50, obviously because of the fact it has a 3rd row. I'd say probably the biggest difference is the headroom between the QX50 and the QX60. Would you agree, Mark?
That's correct.
So overall, it rides really well, and it's packing a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6 pushing 295 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. And it's also made into a CVT. Now, for those who have seen my my QX50 review, that also has a CVT. And for people that may not know what a CVT stands for, it stands for a continuously variable transmission. And unfortunately, I'm not an expert on what exactly a CVT is, but essentially one can surmise from it is the fact that a CVT does not have gears per se. It's kind of just an open-ended loop of acceleration. You don't feel any sort of feedback when you put it in drive or reverse. It just kind of clicks. It's really weird, and it's really hard to convey how that feels, and why does the steering feel just so natural. I'm sorry, I can't get over it because I'm so used to driving vehicles that has such a numb steering feel from Infiniti that I'm appalled in a way, but I'm also happy that Infiniti is still capable of offering something that has some sort of feedback within the steering wheel. But you put it in here, and you're not gonna be carving up canyons or driving fast in something like this. I mean, if you would, you'd end up killing yourself, but overall, like I said, let me see, this is a little straight right here. Let's see what this natural aspirated V6 is packing. Okay. Wow, that's actually impressive. You see, you hear that? There's like no gear change. You don't really feel anything either. It's just, that's cool, but that's actually really fast. For what it is contextually, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with this naturally aspirated V6, and as Mark had mentioned to me earlier, this is one of the few vehicles that Infiniti is offering right now, besides the QX80, right?
Yes. That still has a naturally aspirated engine. Every other offering from Infiniti right now is turbocharged. So if you're looking for a naturally aspirated engine, well, obviously the only choices you have is the QX60 or the QX80. So go figure. But it's honestly, I'm impressed. Like I said, this is ideal for a startup family that is looking for something that has more room for future occupancy. Like this is your planning vehicle, you know. If you're like expecting, you know, 1 or 2 children at the moment, and with room to grow for more, this is ideal. Obviously, if you only want like 1 or 2 children, I would recommend the QX50. I feel like that is, especially that interior on the QX60 that I had, that was the essential trim, and this is the luxe trim. This is probably like what, in the middle tier, or just probably like 2 tiers below the top tier, right? Yep. So Mark, what would one expect to out the door, realistically speaking, if they were to come to you right now for this specific package? What would one expect to pay out the door for something like this? Average. High 40s. High 40s? 47, 48.
47, 48. Now, I say that with the knowledge that one can get a QX50 with the essential trim for about 54 out the door, which is what Will let me know. And I would say that's a very hard bargain to pass up. And I say that in the sense that that interior is leaps and bounds above this interior, but I'm not saying that to knock this interior either. This is a very comfortable, very pleasant, very aesthetically pleasing interior. But if I'm thinking 47 and I could get, you know, maybe 52 here and here, you know, 54 out the door on the QX50 with the essential trim, the highest trim offered in that vehicle with all the amenities, all the bells and whistles. As you can see, this one in particular lacks the dual touchscreen. This is the first Infiniti I've had where
The implementation of the dual touchscreen and the navigation isn't necessarily here, but it has everything else that you would need. It has a backup camera. It has, it does have the 360 view camera, I do believe. It has pretty much everything you'd want, except so one can argue that the dual touchscreen is a little bit overabundance, if you will. But it's not bad to have either, you know what I mean? Like I said, if you can get it, you can get it, you know? But I do genuinely enjoy this vehicle, but when I know that the QX50, with that, like I said, I fell in love with that interior. That interior to me is the best interior I personally sat in from an Infiniti as of yet. This is nice too, don't get me wrong, but if I were to rank the vehicles that I've driven so far, I would say the QX50 is number 1, then the Q60S is number 2, and then well, this will be number 3. And like I said, it's all within context. Like I said, I'm not trying to bash the interior in here. This is very pleasant and it's lovely for what you're getting. And I definitely see good value in here for $47 out the door. I would say that is a pretty good bargain as well. It's just more so, I would behoove whoever's watching this, if you happen to be cross-shopping a QX50 and a QX60, while the steering in here is better, it's more communicative in terms of the feedback it's giving me. If you don't need a third row, this is not that much bigger. It's just kind of, like I said, this is a third row in a pinch. So don't expect to haul 7 adults in here. It's more like 4 adults and 2 children, realistically speaking, you know. So it's weird because like you technically can't fit 3 people in the middle, but it's more like 2 adults on the drivers and passenger, and a child in the middle. You're not really gonna fit 3 adults in the middle row. That just seems unrealistic to me. But like I said, overall, especially for the front seat occupants, it's very spacious, and it's comfortable. But like I said, if you are a tall family, overall, the people that are in the front are obviously gonna have the seat back, more back, and the middle seat occupants are going to be at the expense of that. So you gotta keep that in mind. Remember, this is a lovely vehicle, but it's not the largest vehicle either. If you're looking for something that can accommodate tall people, adults, and you just happen to carry adults around a lot, then you'd probably need to look into a QX80. But overall, I find this to be, like I said, I think this is the quietest Infiniti I've driven so far. I'm really impressed by that. It's so isolated in here that I can barely hear what's going on outside, and that has its pros and cons as well. So, but like I said, the engine is stout. It is naturally aspirated. I do enjoy it, and overall, I would say that would I own this vehicle? Yes, if the QX60 with the central trim didn't exist, you know, and like I said, it's more my preference. For me personally, I don't really need something of this proportions, but would I own it even with that? Yes, I would. But would I, if I were to cross shopping, I would go with the QX50 personally. Like I said, it's all obviously dependent upon, you know, an individual's needs. And it's comforting to know that too, that although this is a little bit bigger than the QX50, it doesn't feel overly large, it doesn't feel ridiculous, and it doesn't feel impossible to park either. It's actually somewhat nimble and it's comfortable. So overall, I think I've covered everything I need to about this vehicle. Mark, is there anything that you would like to add that I may have missed, or any sort of features in here that I may not be as aware of? And overall, besides the fact that you did say this is the second most popular Infiniti vehicle, new Infiniti vehicle at the moment, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. First the Q50, and then second is the Q60. I do want to add that most people come in here for the biggest key feature is that you are able to let people in the third row seat without having to take the child seat out. Okay, this is a feature I wanted to show. Typically, when you want to let somebody in the third row seat, what you would do is you would lift this hatch, the seat folds up and slides forward. The person has space to enter the third row. Now, if you have a car seat, and I'm going to use his book bag as an example. So let's say this was the car seat here, and keep my hand as pressure for more. When you want to let the person in the third row seat, you don't have to take the car seat out. And now the person can easily enter the third row with the car seat still attached.
That's crazy. I've never seen that before.
Yep.
Oh, number one feature.
Number one feature, people come in for this car. And that's something that a lot of competition vehicles of this size do not have.
Well, you heard it there. That was something I would not know, because that's something that I don't really need to know. I don't have kids. So you heard it first. Like I said, this is courtesy of South Bay Infiniti. Once again, thank you so much to my guy Mark. If you have any questions, feel free to hit him up at his number, which is...
Again, my number is 213-915-7881. I know the car buying process isn't the funnest for everybody, but I try to make it as painstakingly easy as possible. So again, my name is Mark Chapman. It's right here, so you can come in and come ask for me.
Well, you guys heard it first. This is your boy Jeameave with Views from the Heart. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again in the next one. Have a blessed day, and I'm out.